I said I'd talk about liberal logic today on Connecticut Yankee sanity, but decided Tuesday night's Democratic debates would be more topical. Not to be picky about meanings, but the word debate in the context of our politics has become a bit distorted. These events are less a forum for disputing opposing ideas than a platform for candidates to strut their stuff, sort of like Argentine tango dancers. All we were lacking Tuesday evening was the violin and accordion accompaniment. With or without musical uplift, you have to pity the Democrats. They can scarcely open their mouths in public lately without expanding Mr. Trump's base. And he doesn't even have to be there. It's better if he's not. That way they can be uninhibitedly delusional without his dragging them kicking and screaming back into reality. The Democratic Party's devolution into socialism and renunciation of the United States as a sovereign nation has been a relatively gradual process since the onset of the Obama administration. But still, I have to smack myself on the forehead from time to time to be sure what I'm seeing and hearing from the left isn't a bad dream from which I'll awaken. It was certainly evident in the debates that I'm not dreaming. It's unpleasant to watch avowed socialists like Sanders and now Warren pander to what they believe is an audience of pathetic victims eager to be taken care of by government nannies. I didn't watch in real time, but caught up with them the next day on the web. Why spoil a relaxing and enjoyable evening? Senator Warren has been a big corporate, big money Democrat from Massachusetts, and I guess that she, as a former Republican, is another instance of a politician taking on protective coloring, like an Arctic hare in winter. Massachusetts, you'll recall, is so deeply under the Democratic ether that it sent Ted Kennedy back to the Senate for 3 additional decades after he drove off a bridge and cost Mary Jo Kopechne her life. He left the scene of the accident, whether to sober up we never found out. When he offered to resign his Senate seat, the voters wouldn't hear of it. I have no idea how they rationalized these decisions, but at least in sending Warren off to Washington, they were dealing with someone who did no worse than pass herself off as a Cherokee Indian. Until now, that is. Tuesday night, she made it clear that, like Sanders, she's betting on the little ball dropping into the socialist pocket of the Democratic roulette wheel. Unsurprisingly, the two were the main focus of the evening, with the one trying to out-socialist the other. Mrs. Warren comes across as slightly less unlikable than Mrs. Clinton, for whom she served as an attack dog in 2016, but she's still a scold. I can only imagine what it would be like to listen to her lecturing us from the Oval Office and pounding her fist on the congressional table for more taxes, more taxes. Yes, I know I'm being unkind, maybe even, gasp, sexist, but I doubt women who are honest about it would feel any different. Between free college for all, forgiving college debt for all, opening the borders to all, and providing free health care for all with bonus benefits for illegals, there's no way we wouldn't need on a national scale her past expertise as a bankruptcy lawyer. The woman, to put it kindly, is nuts. So is Mr. Sanders. He's also getting crotchetier by the day, and there's nothing harder to bear than a crotchety lunatic. When challenged on the wonders of the Canadian healthcare system that he'd impose here, he went red in the face. I thought he was going to have apoplexy right on stage. Canadians, by the way, come to the U.S. by the tens of thousands for medical treatment. It beats waiting 4 or 5 months for an appointment with a Canadian doctor. Our VA hospitals look like a paragon of efficiency by comparison. It doesn't cost anything, though, in Canada, except in taxes. Sanders, clinging like a limpet to his socialist rock, refuses to be pried loose and admit that free not only doesn't mean free, it doesn't mean good either. He apparently thinks that anybody who disagrees with that should just sit down and shut up. Apart from being a pair of autocratic wannabes, both he and Warren definitely flunk out on real-world economics. The rest of the hopefuls on stage aren't worth mentioning, at least in my opinion. That's not because there wasn't at least one level head amongst them, John Delaney's. It's that no one who isn't singing from the socialist songbook counts with the DNC, which seems to think that the whole damned country has swung left just because they have. In the case of Pretty Boy O'Rourke, with the cutesy nickname, it's just as well he played a minor role. But why are moderate Democrats either excluded or forced to pay lip service to the socialists in order to be taken seriously? Pollster Mark Penn, appearing on Laura Ingraham's Angle, observed that winning in the primaries is not the same as winning in the general election. The appeal is ostensibly to a different voting bloc. Be that as it may, if either Sanders or Warren eclipses Joe Biden and wins the nomination, the Democratic Party will be lucky if their traditional base, which they've so far excluded from their calculations, turns out to vote for them at all. Those who do vote may well pull the lever for Mr. Trump. It wouldn't take many Reagan Democrats this time around to hand him an even heftier victory than is already likely. The consensus on the Tuesday debate is that nothing has changed. I agree. The four viable contenders remain Biden, Sanders, Warren, and Harris, with Sanders faltering and Warren moving in for the kill. Neither of the two women hopefuls remotely resembles in intelligence, strength of character, or leadership qualities a Margaret Thatcher, an Indira Gandhi, or a Golda Meir, which is a shame when leadership of the world's greatest nation is in play. Joan of Arc, we don't expect, but surely we can do better than two candidates who think that the United States is a gigantic nursery school in need of a headmistress. Sanders, for his part, is showboating yet again for pure socialism, and yet again he'll either fail to clear the primary hurdles or be sidelined, like last time. That leaves Mr. Biden. If Harris knocks him off balance tonight with more snarky zingers, she'll further diminish his lead, but it's unlikely that the Dems will fail to nominate him. He remains the only candidate with even a prayer of staying in the ring with the Trumpster. His already difficult task will only be made more so. Best case, in my opinion, they assign Warren to him as VP. Worst case, he gets Harris. In either case, they lose. Thanks for watching. Please click like and subscribe to support the channel, and forward the link along. We'll see you back here next time.